Well, over the past year, BLM activists have succeeded in making almost every major city in this country a lot more dangerous. Many people have died as a result of that. Defunding the police was a major plank in their platform. Another was getting more criminals out of jail. Who are those criminals exactly? We've got some exclusive reporting tonight on a specific case in Seattle that highlights what is happening in many places across the country. Activists and politicians in the city of Seattle have succeeded in keeping a 16-year-old called Jaquan Shannon out of jail. Shannon has been accused of hit and run, several drive-by shootings, attempted robbery, and assault, among other crimes. But Jaquan Shannon is not in jail tonight. He was released to his home. In 2019, the mother of one of his victims responded to the total lack of punishment in his case.
It's a big injustice to Jaquan and my 7-year-old son. Our whole world, our whole stability, our whole peace of mind has been taken from us. And I'm just really outraged, and I'm shocked, and I'm really disheartened that he was offered house arrest in the first place.
So they're against gun violence, but not actual gun violence. They're just against you defending yourself. But when some guy runs around and shoots people, home detention. Jason Rantz is Seattle radio host. He joins us tonight. Why? If you go around shooting people, I mean, that's about the most vicious thing and destructive thing you could do. Why don't you go to jail in Seattle again?
Well, in this case, you have the aunt of Jaquan, who is well connected. She is an influential local activist who helped bring, at the time, a council member who is incredibly influential, plus former mayoral candidate, a group of activists to lobby on this kid's behalf. They essentially told the judge that the whole community would come together and help keep this kid on the right path. At the time, he was 14 years old. But one of the most ridiculous points that was made in front of this judge, Teresa Doyle, was that this was just a kid being a kid, and we don't necessarily know at that age that our actions have consequences. Now, over the objections of the prosecutor and that mother whose audio you just played, Jaquan was put on home monitoring, and he was pushed into restorative justice programs, which essentially serve as alternative community programs to keep people out of jail. Now, one of them that he was put into was run by a police abolitionist and a leader of a local movement for no new youth jail, which means exactly what it says. They were successful in getting an already approved youth jail detention center from being completed. So the case goes through the motions. It was delayed over COVID. Cut to, he's 16 years old. He ends up pleading guilty to 3 counts. He's put on probation. A little over a month after being put onto probation, he is arrested and now is charged in a violent carjacking. He was arrested while wearing a no new youth jail t-shirt. So it turns out that this idea that the restorative justice programs was going to help this kid didn't work. Not because restorative justice programs aren't necessarily good, some are, but when you've already at the age of 14 turned to this level of violence, the court should not be thinking about how do we save this kid. The court should be thinking about how do we save society from a criminal with a lot of red flags. Now, right now, he is, in fact, behind bars. He is in detention now.
I mean, he's a 16-year-old boy. He needs a dad. That's the main thing boys need, especially 16-year-old boys. Where's his dad?
His dad has been in and out of jail his entire life, according to a family friend who I spoke to. This is a kid who comes from a broken home, and in that regard, he is a victim. We know that when you don't have a strong family structure, you end up possibly going down this pathway, which is why if this kid was simply hit for stealing some candy bars at a 7-Eleven and he's hanging out with the wrong crowd, okay, yes, you go ahead and put into restorative justice programs. They're not irredeemable. However, the second that you pick up that gun, the second that you do drive-by shootings or an attempted carjacking and first-degree assault, that's when I think we need to start shifting our thinking and saying, let's put them in detention. Let's put any of these folks in detention. Focus restorative justice there while they're serving time, and then we help the actual victims in the community.
Exactly. Just once again, they're not against gun violence. Their cities are filled with it. What they're against is self-defense. So there's a difference. Jason, I appreciate your coming on. Thank you for that. A really smart analysis.
Thank you, Tucker.